Here we go, happy hour again. Let's see what happened here. Oh, that doesn't look good. It's been raining all week, and I know as soon as I take this in here and wash it, it's going to rain about 10 minutes later, but we got to do what we got to do. Can't do a video with a muddy car. It's not a Jeep, right? Right, our garage and test facility. Let's see what we're driving today. Seems to be my month of hybrids. Hybrid one week, hybrid next week. Probably be a hybrid this time too. I had a Hyundai Sonata about 4 weeks ago. Looks like they sent me another one. Difference is the other one was not a hybrid and this is. Says so right here for the whole world to see. Usually when people ask me what type of mid-size sedan they should buy, if they want something reliable and well-made, I usually tell them a Honda Accord or Toyota Camry. But those two have a disadvantage. They're just boring to drive, and this is one advantage that Hyundai and Kia have over the Japanese. A lot of their cars are not boring to drive. And here's an example right here. The styling is gorgeous. I had one just like this. The non-hybrid I told you about. I think it was red as well. Everywhere I parked it, people were gathering around it. Large crowd saying, "Oh, is this a Hyundai?" And yep, it sure is. Very sharp looking. And yes, I think the wheels look cool. A lot of journalists hate them, but matter of personal taste, I guess. They're attention getting, that's for sure. And very stylish from the rear as well. This is a very nice, modern, and beautiful interior as well. We'll be jumping in here a little bit later to take a closer peek. Under the hood, a gasoline engine combined with a hybrid system with the usual motors and batteries for a combined horsepower output of 192. It's hooked to a 6-speed automatic transmission, which is odd. Usually these come with a CVT, but I'm not complaining. Claimed fuel economy is 45 in the city, 51 on the highway, and 47 overall. We'll be racking up some miles in the real world to get the real world mileage, so you might want to stick around. And whatever you do, if you ever get under the hood, do not touch these little orange hoses here. A couple of million volts in there. When the mechanics work on them, they have to wear double gloves. And I hear some of them still get a nice shock. Yeah, you do not want to touch those. One feature to assist fuel economy is this glass roof. Now, how does that work? Well, it's hard to show you because it's glass and it reflects. We're looking at the sky here and a flag. Take a close-up. This is a solar panel. 205 watts according to the spec sheet. And according to Hyundai, it accumulates enough electricity to charge the battery system to give you 800 free miles of driving per year. Don't know if it's true, but that's what they say. It seems to work. I sat in this vehicle for 2 hours listening to the radio and only used about 14 miles of fuel according to the fuel economy gauge. I'd say that's pretty good. If you live in the desert like I do, where the sun's out all the time, this is going to work pretty good. For those of you who live in Alaska, maybe not so much. Oh, now we got a good shot of it. There we go. The first thing I want to do, and you might want to do if you're in a hybrid, is check the rear and see if there's a spare tire under the floor. Most hybrids don't because there isn't any room, but well, there's a lot of room in the trunk, that's for sure. Let's look underneath. We do get a spare tire. A lot of extra room in here too, if you want to hide things. This is a deluxe model that comes standard with LED headlights. Looks like 4 bulbs on each side. Let's take them out in the dark and see what they do. I'd say it's dark enough. Let's take these out and see what they do. They look pretty bright. Here we have the low beams on the building about 100 feet away. Pretty bright. Go to high beam. Very bright. Here we have the brights on the building 300 feet away. Very bright, good height, good spread. No complaints at all. And I would say the camera system does a pretty good job in the dark as well. You can see it long ways back. There's a lot to like in the cabin. The base one has an 8-inch infotainment screen, but the deluxe is seen here, a larger 12-incher. Easy to use climate controls. An extra large glove box. And here's my favorite feature, if you can see it with all the glare we've got here. For some reason, Hyundai likes making shiny things, a lot of reflection. That's a push-button automatic transmission. Far superior to the stick system. This doesn't take up any room. It's almost impossible to get the wrong gear. Reverse, neutral, drive, park. And you don't even have to look. If your eyes are on the road, top reverse, bottom drive, park over here. Pretty simple to me. Consumer Reports magazine doesn't like this system. They call it unintuitive. How that applies to this, I have no idea. Someone at Consumer Reports doesn't know what they're talking about. This is the best system, and it should be on all cars as far as I'm concerned. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. And down here we have a drive mode button. Gives you the choice of custom, sport, eco, or smart. And you get a light show as a bonus from this very well-designed gauge cluster. The second row seating, lots of room for full-size adults and even room for my junk. This brings us to the price tag. I'm told the base cost of a Hyundai Hybrid Sonata runs around $28,500. The Limited like this is loaded with everything, no options. Leather, somersault seats, rocket launchers, you get the idea. As you can see, the list is way too long to cover here, but we can show you the end price. Not bad considering all the goodies you're getting. Plus you're getting a vehicle that's actually made in Korea. I like that idea. This concludes the first half of the video show and tell. Second half, we're going to go out and do some driving. And like the phony YouTube car testers that never get the real mileage, you just rattle off the EPA claims on the price sticker, we're going to take this out and get the real fuel economy. No BS test. The Sonata Limited Hybrid has more warning buzzers than the alarms in Fort Knox. Forward safety, lane safety, blind spot safety, parking safety. All these alarms going off all the time. I went to the bank yesterday, pulled into the drive-thru, have cars to my left, cars to my right, cars in front, and every time one of them moved, even a couple feet, all the alarms are going off, warning me there's a vehicle in front of me, beside me, and back of me, driving me nuts. Fortunately, a lot of this stuff can be turned off here on the display screen. There's a lot to turn off, too. The warning buzzers are only one half of what you're getting. The other half is the driver assistance standees we have on here. Automatic steering, automatic lane keeping, automatic braking, pedestrian braking. But here's a weird one called Highway Auto Curve Slowdown. The way it works, you're driving down the road around, say, 50 miles an hour, and the car thinks there's a 30-mile-per-hour curve coming up. It brakes the car down to 30 miles per hour. Okay. Don't want that. Don't want any of this stuff. I deleted everything, and apparently it stays off. It doesn't restart when you restart the vehicle. Every now and then I get hate mail from someone saying, "What are you turning off all the safety features for? They're good." Well, you know what? I'll tell you why, because I know how to drive. I don't need the car driving for me. If you don't know how to drive, you shouldn't be driving a car in the first place. That's me. But if you love all these safety gadgets, you'll love the Sonata Limited with all this stuff turned on. Knock yourself out. By the way, this vehicle has an excellent camera system. If you order the optional goodies, that is. Very clear image here. Very sharp. Let's see what else it does. Impresses me. I like the turn signal arrangement. You got cameras on the outside mirrors. I'm not moving, by the way. I'm sitting still to demonstrate this. There's the left turn signal, left camera, and the right turn signal, the right camera. Very good clarity, by the way. The power steering system on this vehicle has no feel or feedback, being electric, but it is quick and responsive, so I don't think any drivers will be complaining. It is very light for those of you with weak arms. As I do in all my videos, we're going to take some mild speed humps around 20 miles per hour. See how the suspension performs on impact. Here comes bump number 1. Sounded worse than it is. Number 2. Number 3. And the nasty one. Hang on for your life. Just a note, while the performance on the speed bumps was a bit rougher than I expected, the performance on the street is a lot smoother than I expected, so overall, no complaints. The horsepower output of the hybrid is about the same as the non-hybrid, close enough. Ooh, got some wheel spin there. In the sport mode. This thing moves up pretty good. That was a shocker. Nice brakes. Here's one of my pet peeves I find on a lot of vehicles. You turn off the safety nannies and you get these orange warning lights in the gauge cluster, which are often the same color as the check engine light warning, which is more serious than this. This needs to be a different color. Also needs to be placed somewhere else. Very distracting. For the past 3 hours, we took this vehicle out doing heavy city traffic, expressway traffic, and some mixed other environments, and it's been holding pretty steady at 39 to 41 mpg, regardless of the environment we were driving in. That's the result thus far, more to come. We're going to set the fuel economy meter to 0 and take a highway trip, hopefully over 100 miles, and it's hot outside, 113 degrees starting. Should be interesting to see how the hybrid system handles the heat. This Hyundai is very pleasant to drive on the freeway. The suspension is comfortable, does a great job of absorbing bumps. The wind noise is very low, I'm surprised. Unfortunately, the steering just has no feel, and it's going to take some getting used to. Ooh, that was a rough piece of pavement. And I do get some reflections in the windshield, as you can see right here. That's annoying, but not a deal killer. This is a very rough road. You probably hear the impacts on the camera, but I really don't feel anything. Again, a very smooth ride. Here we go, 114 miles, 37.0 mpg. Didn't really expect 51 miles to the gallon, did you? I didn't. I'm going to take another highway trip. It's a bit cooler outside because it's late in the evening. That might increase the fuel economy. Guess we'll find out soon enough. We're back in town. I'm going to pull over and see what the fuel economy ended up being. The suspense is killing me.
69 miles. Did better this time. 42.2 mpg. As far as that claimed fuel economy on the window sticker, 51 mpg, I'll believe it when I see it, but I doubt I'm ever going to see it, and I don't think you will either. The 42 is good enough for me.
So what's my take on this Hyundai after a week of driving? Well, I'm very, very impressed. They did a great job on this vehicle. Love driving it. That's a pretty good testimonial coming from me, because as a rule, I just don't care for hybrid vehicles for reasons I will discuss maybe in another video. Don't think I would ever want to really own a hybrid, but if I did, I'd probably choose this first. And if you want to see what it's like to drive the non-hybrid version of the Sonata, we have a link for that video coming up right now, and that was my personal favorite. So the Sonata hybrid or non-hybrid, both nice vehicles, take your pick.